All right, hello, my name's Keough, and today I'm going to give you a very short demonstration of two exercises that I like. The first one is the barbell hip thrust, and the second one is the seated good morning. So for the barbell hip thrust, you're going to see me perform this exercise. What I try and do, and what I really try and focus on for the barbell hip thrust, is because it's an exercise in which your torso is going to be elevated, your back is going to be placed against a flat surface above the ground. What you really want to focus on here is making sure your glutes fire and making sure you turn it into a glute accessory exercises, because that's really what it is. There are other hip thrust variations, a feet elevated glute bridge, for instance, that'll target more of the hamstrings, but this really is primarily a glute exercise. So you really want to focus on activating and engaging your glutes. Now, when I do these, I'm going to really exaggerate the lockout portion of the lift, and you don't necessarily have to do that, but you do want to flex your glutes at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the bar somewhere around my hip bone, and I'm going to really try and pack my neck like I would doing, say, a barbell row. I'm going to pack my neck and try and maintain a neutral spinal position throughout this exercise, and I'm just going to thrust my hips as hard as possible, and I'm really going to try and get my glutes to fire. Now, I'm not trying to do these exceptionally fast, but when you're doing these for real, don't be afraid to actually put some speed into it. You want to do them quickly. I'm doing a longer set just to show you how to do them, but usually I'll work up obviously heavier than this today. So again, what you really want to focus on is engaging your glutes and making sure your glutes fire, and you really want to flex your glutes at the top of the movement. It'll really help you to be able to, in other barbell exercises like a deadlift, pull your hips through at lockout. The other thing that I will say is that I keep my feet pretty far underneath me, and that definitely affects the total range of motion that I can get with this exercise. If you were to keep your feet further out, you'd be able to extend so that your hips would actually get a little bit higher than your knees, and sometimes I'll do this variation, but for this, just to sort of show off the exercise, what I basically did is I kept my feet where I normally would, which is a little bit underneath me. My shins are a little bit past perpendicular compared to the floor. That's where I like having my feet for this exercise, but I think for me it's just a matter of personal preference. I will keep them pretty narrow. I keep a pretty narrow stance for this, and I've experimented in the past with wider and narrower stances, but I like a narrow stance, something shoulder width apart. That's where I place my feet, and I'll usually take a wider grip, but really, again, it's just a matter of personal preference. The other exercise that I've demoed here in this very short video is the seated good morning, and I've basically taken my cue from Matt Wenning's So You Think You Can Squat video. He gives a really good demonstration and explanation of this exercise, so I recommend looking at that if you want more information. But this is one of those put yourself in really terrible position exercises. What you want to do with this exercise is you want to allow your back to round over as much as possible, and you really want to load the thoracic portion of your spine. That's what I'm trying to do when I'm doing this exercise. I used a slightly shorter than normal box for this. Usually I'll use a box that's just at about parallel. I used one that's a little shorter just for demonstration purposes. So usually I'd use a slightly shorter box so that my feet don't get in the way, so that my legs don't get in the way, rather. But when you do these, you put your feet forward. How far forward and how far up is sort of up to you, but you want them out of the way so that your legs aren't getting in the way of your torso. And as you'll see from this video, when I initiate the movement, I really focus on getting a good arch and pushing my hips forward. So I want to get in good position at the start of the video and at the start of the exercise. And when I do the exercise, I'm setting up so that I'm in really good position, but but I'm going to break that position and I'm going to make it really bad very quickly. And what I'm doing is I'm allowing the bar to drop, I'm allowing my chest to drop, and I'm allowing the my spine to round over. And I want to really sort of shoulder the load of that weight on my spinal erectors, and I want to feel my spinal erectors being engaged. It's a movement that you'd use primarily for hypertrophy to build up your spinal erectors. So you wouldn't be using tremendous amounts of weight with it most of the time, but you want to do higher rep range work with this. If you have weak spinal erectors, it's a great movement to build those up. You'll see when I do this exercise that I allow my elbows actually to come a little bit above the bar. Like if someone were doing a really bad squat and their elbows were to come above the bar because they get rounded over, you actually want to imitate that. So my elbows will, if not come over the bar, at least reach the bar. That'll allow me to really round over like I want to and place that weight on my spinal erectors. Now, you're not distributing the load on your lumbar region, you're distributing it on your spinal erectors, and you have to remember that when you perform the exercise. That's where you should really feel this stretch taking place. This is another exercise that I'm really exaggerating the bottom portion so that you can see what position I'm putting myself in the bottom. So normally when I do these, I wouldn't pause at the bottom, but I'm just doing this to sort of explain the movement a little bit better. And as you can see, I'm not really engaging my legs too much. I'm not really engaging my hips. It's more just a matter of engaging my spinal erectors, allowing my back to round over and then unround over and round over and unround over. I like to look forward when I do this. I like to really try to, again, sort of pack my neck and push back into the bar, because that's what's going to keep the bar stable on my back. I use a lower bar position. I use low bar for this. I've done it high bar in the past, but it can become kind of tricky, at least for me. I have to sort of limit my range of motion so that I don't let the bar drift too far forward. So I like a lower bar position, but I think that's more a matter of personal preference. But anyway, 2 exercises. I like them both, so hopefully this is helpful for you. All right.
Definitely the audio on this one.
I got one.
gonna do like 100, you know. I'm kidding, I don't know, but